Most people spend a lot of time researching ways to get out of their 9 to 5 and never really take any action to do so. And maybe they try one or two things and it doesn't work right away and they just give it up. Or maybe start looking for the next best thing that will work for them. But I've worked with hundreds of different solopreneurs, and really the fastest and most secure way to get out of your 9 to 5 will be picking one of these 3 lanes that match your skills and your timeline. So just give me a few minutes of your time and I will show you the exact 90-day plan that I would use to replace my paycheck if I had to today, without any gambling or luck. By the end of this video, you'll know what lane fits you, what to do this week, and the different milestones you will need to achieve in order to replace your 9 to 5 income. We'll start this list with the fastest lane and end in the lane that has the highest potential upside. Look, I know what you may be thinking, and you probably have some sort of excuse of why maybe you can't do any of these or other things have not worked in the past. The most common excuses I see is not having time, the skill, or just no money. And all of these just don't matter. If you think you don't have time, you definitely do. No matter what you're doing, there is time that you could make, even 30 minutes a day. But I guarantee if you look at your phone's screen time, you have a lot of time that is being wasted on stuff that's not bringing you money. Carve out some of that time, an hour a day if you can, and your weekends, your days off. You could spend some of that time doing this. For example, you have the time to watch this video. That means you have time to watch other videos. And if you have all this time to watch videos, you have time to implement what you're going to learn. And if you don't have skills, that doesn't matter. A lot of these don't require skills, and the skills that you need, you could learn. You could be 90% more proficient than the average person in almost any skill with just about 10 hours of learning. There's a lot of free education available online, and even certifications and programs that are all available for free. And what I always recommend is learn as you go. Just dive in head first. Don't worry about trying to learn every in and out of everything. As things come up, that's when you should learn them. You will save time, stress, and headaches and get to your result much faster. And if you don't have money, lucky for you, these 3 lanes don't require any money, or they require very little. You just have to get creative, use free tools, and put in the work. So let's hop right into lane number 1. Lane number 1, remote jobs, the fastest way to replace your 9 to 5 with a stable income. Now, really when you want to choose this is when you want a predictable income and something that's going to be a little bit more traditionally stable, and especially if you have some skills developed already. But fear not if you don't. It's actually pretty easy to get certifications that will land you remote jobs. You'll just have to be a bit better on your applications and your interviews to stand out. And some of the lowest hanging fruit that you can get into for remote jobs is customer service, media buying, copywriting, editing, project management, support, and SDR. I know what you may be thinking. You're placing a 9 to 5 job with a remote job. Maybe it's still a job, but what you don't realize is how much time you actually waste commuting to your 9 to 5 job, the extra hour lunch break that is required, and then conversing with people that you don't really care to converse to. And then by the end of the day, you're extra drained from having to be somewhere where you don't want to be. Once you have a remote job, you will never want to go back to a regular job, because you're going to see that you actually get rewarded for being more efficient at your work. If you are getting paid salary and you could get your work done faster than 8 hours, which in most cases you easily can, you're going to have extra time on your hands to work on other ventures or just do whatever you want. And the best positions really are on contract, because on contract, you're not required to attend all these unnecessary meetings or do time check-ins and all that kind of stuff. As long as you get your job done, you get paid the same regardless of how long it takes you. And with a regular 9 to 5 on-site job, you're just running down the clock. Now let's walk through some of the timeframes and milestones you could expect and what you should be doing. Week 1 and 2, pick 1 or 2 roles that you think you're going to be a good fit for and that you could learn. Don't just apply to every random thing. You're going to really want to tailor your focus on those 1 or 2 things and make resumes specifically geared towards that role and get whatever necessary certifications that will help you. Depending on what the role is too, you could also make some work samples. For example, if you are a copywriter, write some ad copy or landing page copy, have that as examples. If you're going to be an ad designer, design some ads. You get the point. You're going to really want to start applying with volume. My most recommended platform is LinkedIn because there's easy apply and you could spam those out and then go through later on the ones that are not easy apply and fill in the manual applications. Week 3 and 4, you should already be having an interview or a few. And I recommend you record your own interviews to see where you can improve and how the interviewer reacted to those answers. When you're answering, you don't really notice their reactions on screen until you look at the recording and see whether it was positive or not. And if you don't have any interviews yet, just look up the common interview questions for whatever given role that you're applying for and record yourself answering those questions until you could answer them concisely and confidently. Now, by month 2 and 3, you should already be in a job or getting some offers. If you are not, you definitely have to tweak your process. And one thing people don't keep in mind is if you accept a job, you could still keep applying because there might still be somebody out there that will pay you more. Now, the key numbers that you should be paying attention to is the amount of applications that you send out. I would recommend sending out a bare minimum of 20 applications a day and apply to the most recently listed jobs because a lot of them get so many applicants, they only look at the first few before they start sending out interviews. That about covers it for remote jobs. Let's hop into the next one. That's a little bit more exciting. Lane number 2, side hustles. When you should be choosing this lane is when you need more of an immediate cash flow, low risk, or you just want to test the water and figure out where your skills lie. And I've done dozens of different side hustles, and I actually put together a list of 27 of the proven money-making methods with these side hustles, and you can grab it in the link in the description. But I'll go over a few of them here. So the 3 that I will use for this example will be local reselling, local servicing, or online freelance. And local servicing meaning car detailing, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, lawn care, things of that nature that you could sell on a flyer and post in local Facebook groups. There's tons of local flips available. If you just look on Facebook Marketplace and look at the free section, or just go to your Goodwill and see what they've got available and check what those items are selling for locally. I have made a few videos in the past, so if you go on my channel, you could see those of actually how to resell, and it's very straightforward. For local servicing, you could honestly do almost anything. You will need to maybe rent some equipment, and you could do that from Home Depot and really just go into literally every single local Facebook group that you have and offer your services. Just put your city name, your county name, look it up, and join every single group that there is. Put your services out there, and don't be too pushy, but you will have people reaching out to you. And for online freelancing, you could go to Fiverr and Upwork and just really see what's selling and make very similar listings. And for getting jobs faster and a higher volume of them, though it is kind of against terms of services, I would recommend making multiple accounts so you could have way more listings. So then you could broaden your horizons and then see what somebody is doing. And if you don't know how to fulfill that skill, you could also work with a contractor or a white label agency. That's a little bit more on the advanced side, but a lot of things you could learn to do pretty easily, like basic photo touch-ups, logo designs, copywriting, ad design, and AI could actually help you with that, a lot of that. And looking at the 30 to 90 day window for this, with local reselling, you will find some products that you could buy and resell multiple times over and over. You'll find your winning consistent products. For local servicing, you will start getting some referrals and repeating customers. Ideally, you want to get them on monthly contracts or quarterly or seasonally. But if you do a good service and you're a personable person, this will be pretty easy for you. And for the freelancing aspect, this is when you're going to have your core products. You'll be already getting some ratings, and that's when you double down and scale on them. Make more listings that are similar to what is selling. And on Upwork, you could apply to other gigs, especially once you get some reviews, your approval percentage will be much higher. Now, the key numbers that you really want to watch for this is for local reselling, your margins. If your margins are pretty tight and you're not making $20 plus on every flip, ideally $100 plus, it might not be really worth your time, depending on how fast you could sell them. For local servicing, if you are not getting people calling you and asking you for your service or referring people to you, then you might want to look into doing something else. For the freelancing, you're going to want to look at the total amount of clicks on your jobs and the total number of conversions. If you're not getting enough clicks, that means it's either pretty saturated or there's just not that much demand for it. If you're getting a lot of clicks and you're not getting a lot of closes, that means your copy or your work is just not that strong and you need to make it better or get some reviews, maybe mark the price down really low, get some initial reviews or have your friends buy it and you refund them after they give you a review, and that will help you get your closing rates higher. Now, really for this, the main thing is just don't overthink it. Just start doing something, and that's what side hustles are about. It's just doing something. The more time you're going to spend not making money. Now, onto the third lane, which is my favorite. Lane 3, starting a simple agency. This will have the highest upside of any of the lanes and a lot of other things that you could have looked at before. Really, when you want to choose this is when you are okay with getting in front of people and doing sales and working on the fulfillment, and you want to scale to something meaningful in the future. And really, what to sell, don't overthink it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what's working. One of the lowest hanging fruits that works for any area and any industry is optimizing Google My Business listings for people. While there's not exact measurable results, businesses do understand that if their Google My Business profile is weak, they're going to have less people coming in. And there's a lot of softwares that just automate it for you, and quick things that you could templatize. And just looking up an area and seeing their Google reviews, you could do that with D7 Leads Finder and just automatically outreach to them, whether it's on phone call, which is going to be the easiest way to close them, or email or DM, whatever you want. And one of my sneakiest tactics that I've used is finding their closest competitor that has better reviews and screenshotting their profile and sending it to them, showing what they could look like. Because that's obviously pushing their buttons a little bit, but they know it's a pain point and they do want to have the same look and feel and numbers because they know their better rated competitor is having more people come through the door. So they will be willing to pay you a couple $100s a month to maintain their Google My Business profile. And that's maybe an hour or two of work a month at most. And you could hire contractors to do it for you when you scale up. Now, there's a ton of different services like running ads, email marketing, and those are a little bit more advanced. I would focus in the beginning on having your clientele be local businesses and not established online businesses because the competition for those is much higher and a lot of those business owners already are good at those things. So you have to be great at those things to be able to sell it to them. And for outreach, you'll want to use ManyReach or Mailshake, which is email outreach, and DMs. The softwares are kind of expensive to DM, so I would do them manually when you're starting out. And then, of course, you want to set up a Stripe account. It's free. It's for processing your payments. Now, let's look at the timeframes and what you could reasonably expect within these next 90 days. Week 1 and 2, you need to have your offer dialed in, meaning you know what service you're doing and for who. And build 2 simple case studies. Offer some businesses your service for free, or if you have friends or family that run something that you could help them with, ask them if you could help them out. You should already be sending out at least 100 emails and 100 cold DMs per week. And don't send booking links because that's going to crush your deliverability. If you are curious on exactly how to get your first clients, I did actually make a more in-depth video on that. You could find that on my channel. All right, by week 3 and 4, you should have closed one or a few clients with a clear timeline for the outcome for them, and hopefully you got them on a recurring subscription model. This is when you're going to want to start delivering. This is when you're going to want to start delivering things for them clearly. Send them good reports, send them looms, show them that you actually care, and they will stay with you and give you good reviews that you're going to need to acquire more customers. Month 2 and 3 is when things are going to start really clicking for you if you've been putting in the reps like you should be. This is when you could raise your price, be more confident in pitching, and really have a dialed in offer with potential similar services to upsell. If you are consistently getting on calls and you're not closing them, this is when you'll want to hire a closer. And if you already have multiple clients and the fulfillment's getting frustrating, that's when you want to hire a contractor. Key numbers that you want to pay attention to, especially in the beginning, is the amount of outreach that you are doing. The more outreach that you could do, the better. If you're not outreaching enough, you're not going to get clients. But this way, if you're bad at emailing and bad at closing, you could still outreach to 300 people, get 8 to 12 of them to reply, book half of those, and if you just close one, that's going to be worth your time because that's going to be an ongoing client for you. So why would you not want to send as much emails and cold DMs as possible? It's just a no-brainer. So the more that you will input, the more your output is going to be. And yes, that's a little bit easier said than done, but nothing great is easy. So make sure you're putting in the work to outreach. That is really the most important part. Something that you want to avoid is trying to sell everything to everyone. Find one service and ideally one client demographic that you're going to sell to and reach out to every single person that fits that demographic. And if you're doing custom quotes for all of them, that's going to waste a lot of your time, especially on the sales call, going back and forth, figuring things out. You're going to want to come up with different set tier packages or just one size fits all. So then you know your numbers, and when you hire a contractor, you know your cost of fulfillment and your margins. And don't delay your fulfillment. Be on top of everything. Communicate with your clients because it is much easier to keep a client than it is to get a new client. If you lose a client because you slacked off, that's on you. That's you throwing away money. Don't do that. Make sure you provide a good service and good communication, and they will stay with you. If you really want to learn more about agencies, I put together the Better Agency Blueprint. You can grab it in the link in the description below. All right, now that we went over the 3 lanes, let's help you decide which one to go with, and then your 90-day action plan that you could apply to each one of them. Need money in 7 days? Side hustles. Need something more stable quickly? Remote jobs. And you want the most upside and you want to build something for yourself? Agency. Now for the 90-day milestones. Day 7, you should already have your lane chosen and your assets ready to go, meaning resume, whatever you need for your side hustles, whether it's setting up the websites, ordering the products, etc. Or you have developed some sort of work samples that you could have for your agency, whatever it is that you're offering. All right, now by day 30, if you went with remote jobs, you should have sent out at least 100 apps by now and have had a few interviews. Agency, you should have your offer dialed in and have sent a couple hundred cold emails and DMs. And in the side hustle, you should already be having about $1,000 cash from it. If you don't, that means you're not pushing hard enough. By day 60, you should have some offers already coming in for your remote jobs. And if you don't, that's either one of 2 reasons. You're not getting interviews, which you need to fix your resume, or 2, you've had interviews, but you're not getting follow-ups, which means you need some practice on how you interview. Day 60, you should have about 1 or 2 clients with your agency at this point. If you don't, again, that could be one of 2 things. You're not outreaching enough, or if you're getting appointments, you're not good at selling. Practice selling, or outreach more. And ideally, even if you do have a couple clients already, get better at both. Now, with your side hustles, you should be at about $2,000 profit here. If not, you're definitely doing something wrong. By day 90, you should already be in your job. Or if you're running an agency, you should be having at least 3 clients at this point. And the side hustle is a little bit more nuanced. If you're not making at least $2,500 to $3,000 profit from that alone, you should maybe start thinking about another side hustle or adding something onto there. Go ahead, pick your lane, start taking action, and get out of your 9 to 5. You're going to thank yourself for starting sooner than later. And if you are geared on actually putting together an agency or just interested, I put together a video of the agency model that is going to absolutely crush it this next year. You could watch that video here.